I just want to make this video video is going to be about my IUD experience. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Shayna. So I'm just readjusting this. I just want to make this video video is going to be about my IUD experience. It's been about 3 months since I've had the IUD put in. This is my son. He was down for a very short nap. So yeah, I gave birth to him in July. I did not want to go on birth control, the hormonal kind anyways, because honestly, I didn't want to be on it. That's the reason why I got off of it, is because it was it was hormonal. I've been on hormonal birth control since I was 16. Sorry if you start squawking, but since I was 16, and then I was on it for 4 years, and I went off of it when I was 20, and in April of, I think it was 2017. Yeah, 2017. And then I got pregnant with him in October, November. That year. So then after that, I gave birth to him in July 2018, and since then I didn't want to be on hormonal birth control because I never knew my body off of it, because I was on it throughout puberty too. Honestly, I only had periods for 2 years before that. I got my first period when I was 14, and as you get your period as a teenage girl, it's so irregular because just because it's not it's just learning, right? Your body's just learning. So I wanted to I was on that for a little while, for 4 years, and I just wanted to know my cycle, because after I got off of it, I was off of it for 6 months, and then I was pregnant. And I was irregular in between that. It usually takes about 6 months for it to, especially pills for the hormones to leave your body completely. And I was having, I think I had 2 cycles in the 6 months, and which is awesome. But when you're not sure what's going on and you're thinking about trying to have a baby, because me and my fiance were together at that point for 5 years. So we were thinking about having a baby, and we're like, okay, why not? We'll just see what happens. We'll play it by ear, basically. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So I went off of it, and I only had 2 periods. And then I went to the doctor because my periods were so irregular, and most people's periods, it takes a couple months to get back, but they still regulate, even though there's those hormones in the body. So, and my period was never regular in the first place. And that's kind of when I went on it too, because I didn't want to have any surprises. I hate that, and everything was just so messed up that there's a reason why I went on it, but then I didn't think about the consequences of it. So anyways, in between, after going off my hormonal birth control, the pills, I had to get blood work done a couple times because they weren't sure why my period wasn't coming back, and they said, yeah, it should only take about 3 months for it to actually come back, regulate. So I was okay. So they sent me for blood work, and my prolactin level was increased. So I was okay, well, what can I do? So I looked up things online myself, and he said, my doctor, I don't exactly remember what he said, but before I went to go see him, because he did say my prolactin level was increased, and I was kind of concerned about it. I was well, does that mean I can't have a baby? Oh yeah, that's the reason why I started doing that, because I wanted to see if, later on when me and Lan were for sure wanting kids, we wanted to make sure that I wasn't infertile, we were wanting to make sure that everything was okay. And since I was on birth control for so long, and I heard rumors that if you were on birth control for so long, it can actually permanently damage your reproductive system, which it can't, but anyways, that type of birth control that I was on can't. So I decided to, we got blood work done, blah blah blah, prolactin level, and then I looked it up, and I seen Vitex, the vitamin or herb or whatever it's called, can actually decrease it. So I was okay, well, he's never heard of it before, and he was a pharmacist for 10 years. So I was okay, well, I was is it harmful? I don't want to take it until you say it's okay. And he said, well, how about this? Get your blood work done first, again, and then after your blood work is done, you can start the Vitex if it doesn't show up by then. So I said, okay. So I started the Vitex in September, late September. I think it was like September 25th actually. And then I was on it for, you weren't supposed to be on it consistently. You're actually supposed to be on it for like so many amount of days, and then after that, you're supposed to be off of it for a week. So basically, it's trying to regulate your cycle. So it's kind of like when you're on it's like when you're on hormonal birth control. Basically, you take it for 21 days or something like that, and then you're off of it for those 8 days that you're supposed to have your period, or something like that. Anyways, and so I took it for a couple months, and all of a sudden, like, I guess September, and all of a sudden I was pregnant. Like, we conceived in, I think it was actually, we conceived end of October. So, we conceived end of October, and then I found out I was pregnant in middle of November. So anyways, that's how that happened. And then, so I went off of the hormonal birth control because it messed up with my hormones, like, really bad. Like, everyone was, like, my stepdad was scared of me. Everybody was scared of me. I had rage problems. I still have rage problems, but I had really bad mood swings, and so everyone was kind of scared to be around me when those were happening. So after having him, I was like, hey, well, I don't want to be on anything. We'll just have to do it naturally. And like, there was way too many complications because no one tells you how, like, you're super fertile, like, you're extremely fertile 6 months, up to 6 months after having your baby, like 6 months postpartum. And I didn't know that, and I didn't want to take any more, like, I didn't want to take a chance, you know, like, you're still using protection, but the thing, like, if you're super fertile, like, the littlest thing can happen, and if you don't know your cycle, it's really scary. I think my glasses are actually starting to darken up, sorry. So it's like you weren't sure, and you aren't sure, and even though you take ovulation strips like I did, you never know, because if you have an UPS and then you take an ovulation strip and it's positive, you're done. Like, you're screwed. So I just wanted to make sure. So I think we finally decided, like, he was almost 6 months old when I decided to go on IUD. Like, we weren't sure about it for, like, the longest time because my younger sister, she's just a little bit younger than me. She wanted to be put on it because she didn't want to be taking something every single day, and she had the same problem with me, like, as I did. So with hormonal birth control, anyways, so she was gonna go on the IUD first, and she's the one that kind of actually brought it up to me because at my 6 weeks postpartum appointment. They're like, hey, what kind of birth control do you want to go on? I said, none. I don't want to go on. That's why I went off of it, to stay away from the hormones and stuff like that. So they're like, hey, well, you have to be very careful. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like, she didn't tell me I was going to be very fertile, though. So I was like, hey, whatever. And then my sister, I brought her to her appointment, and she was so scared because she's seen all these YouTube videos saying that it's so painful and everything because, well, it is. So I went with her to the appointment, and, like, my mom stayed home with my baby, and I took her to her appointment, and she actually fainted. Like, she passed out. And not to scare anybody that's watching this, like, it's different for everybody. My sister has a very low pain tolerance. So she had, like, the way it happens, like, they have to open up your vaginal opening, and then they put the spectrum in there to open it, and then after that, they take this other little, it looks like tweezers, honestly, and they open your cervix through that, like, with that, and that's what caused it. She didn't eat anything beforehand either, and neither did I, because it was really early in the morning, so she didn't eat anything beforehand. Her blood sugar was already low, her blood pressure was low, and those things kind of can trigger, like, a nerve that it'll actually decrease your blood pressure, so if it's already low, you're gonna faint. No problem. And watching my sister faint made me nearly faint, and which was not a fun time. So I was like, do I want to get this thing? Like, I'm terrified. So my sister actually has to go to the hospital and get it put in. She has to be, like, actually out to do it. But anyways, I set an appointment for December 21st to get mine put in. And because I was just like, I don't want anything hormonal, and this is the only thing that's non-hormonal other than, like, the condoms, which is not always reliable, and a couple other things which, like, like the birth control pills, they are hormonal, but they go through your entire body. And same with the needle. The NuvaRing and some other ones. Sorry, he's eating my hand. He's teething. It's mainly, the hormones are mainly like focused on your uterus area. But I don't know for a fact, like I'm not a doctor, so I can't say this for sure, but as far as I know, like with my research, it takes a long time for it to actually go through your body, but it still affects it to some degree. So I just didn't want to be anything hormonal, and that was my only choice. And it was a lot cheaper than buying pills every single month or everything else every single month. It's a one-time fee, and you have it in for like, mine is 5 years. Ow. Mine's 5 years. So I had that put in because I didn't want to have to worry about it, because I'm already terrible with taking vitamins every day, and I don't want to forget. And that's another reason why I wanted to get off my hormonal birth control, because they say that if you take it every day at the same time, it doesn't affect you nearly as bad. But if you miss a day, or you double, like say you miss a day and then the next day when you do remember, you take twice, it's going to mess up with your hormones. Like, it's going to mess with your mental head, like your head. So I was really bad with it. So I didn't want to be on that. I didn't want to have to, like screw my mind up. I went through bad postpartum. I didn't need to add any more hormones into my body. So I went on it. So I went to the doctor, and I took Tylenol extra strength, one Tylenol extra strength, an hour before my appointment. And my mom drove me in. And I was so terrified. But when I see my doctor beforehand, she said, I explained to her what happened to my sister. And I said, I'm terrified of that. And she said, well, you've had a baby before. Has she? I said, no. She's like, it's going to be a different experience. Your cervix has already opened before, so it's not going to be as painful for you. So I said, okay. So anyways, my sister didn't take anything beforehand. She took it 20 minutes before the appointment. Like, when she went in, they gave her the pills, let them take effect a little bit, and then it happened. And she didn't take all the pills that she was supposed to, like all of the medication that they gave her. So I took my Tylenol extra strength, and then an hour before, and I laid down, and she walked me through the process of everything. She said, Kate, this is when you're going to feel, this is when most people feel a big menstrual cramp. So I was like getting prepared for it, holding my mom's hand, looking at her, breathing, to focus on the breathing. And honestly, it didn't hurt. The thing that I felt the most is when they were taking this sponge. I don't know what's on it, but it's like a certain dye that's supposed to sterilize that area. So they sterilize your uterus opening. And that's basically what I felt the most. I didn't feel anything else. And then she's like, Kate, we're done. I was like, what? You're serious? I was like, I didn't feel anything. I could have done this myself. Like, I didn't need somebody here with me. So it wasn't a painful experience for me, but I also had a kid. But like, don't be scared. Honestly, it's different for everybody. And if you're really worried about it, take Tylenol beforehand, unless your doctor advises you not to, and take somebody with you, because if you do not feel good, you're not going to want to drive afterwards. For spotting wise, I didn't spot right after like most people do. I took me about 3 or 4 days to start spotting, and then I spotted off and on for almost an entire week, and then after that I was done. And another reason why I went on this IUD is because I wanted to get to know my body, my period, like my cycle, myself. I wanted to get to know everything, how I worked, how I felt, my like actual myself. And because we do want to have another baby in about a year or so. So I was like, you know what? I'd rather get to know my body, so when it does come to conceiving, all I just take out and just watch for like those times where I need to know. So that's why I also went on it as well. But yeah, and then I've had 2 periods since then. So about it, like that one spotting incident was not a period, obviously. So it was just, so I waited, and about 2 weeks later, I think I got my period in like January sometime. And then again, I got it in March. So I got 2 periods in about 3 months span. It's going to be 3 months tomorrow. March 21st, it'll be 3 months since I've had the ID. Symptoms I've had so far with it, I've had, he's teething really bad, sorry guys. He's pushing me back. cramping, like they tell you when you get it, just to like be aware, that you're gonna have excessive like increased cramping. You're so cute. Increased cramping and probably increased bleeding. And maybe, and like longer bleeding too. So like not as increased, but like it's gonna be a little bit heavier than your normal, but then it's also gonna be a little bit longer. So like everything a little bit more, but personally myself, I experienced cramping about 2 weeks before I had my period, like really bad cramping, like I thought I was gonna get my period, and nothing happened. And then 2 weeks later, I got my period. The first day, I cramped really bad, and it was like, it felt like little tiny, little contractions, like little contractions, but wasn't anything severe. Like I had to take some Tylenol, like extra strength, and my fiance had to watch my baby for that day, like hang out with him. Good thing it was on a weekend because he wasn't working. But for that one day, just because I couldn't stand very well, like I wasn't feeling good. I was in a lot of pain. My back hurt. Like your normal period symptoms, just a little bit more intense. And then after that, it was fine. And my period was about normal, and also, but it was shorter. Like it wasn't, usually my period lasts 6 to 7 days, and it lasted 5 to 6 days. So it was a little bit shorter too. So I would say this has been great so far. And my last period as well was, the cramping was bad. I wasn't feeling good, but it only lasted for that one day. And then after that, it was gone for the rest of the week. And I just had bleeding. But the bleeding, literally, like, it was 2-3 heavy days, and then the rest were super light. Like, I was like, the last day, I was like, do I even need to put a tampon in or a pad on? Like, I just could put a panty liner on. So it wasn't bad at all. I'll keep you guys updated too. But that's been my experience so far. And as far as weight gain and acne, I haven't had any bad acne. Like I don't break out. I never broke out in high school. I rarely ever break out, and I've broken out every like once in a while. But I'm also trying to improve my skincare routine, because I'm honestly, like, before being a mom, I never really cared about my skin. I never put on foundation. I never washed my face, like actually washed my face. None of that. So that has something to do with it. I don't think it has anything to do with the IUD. And weight gain, I'm losing weight. Not bad, but I'm working on myself mainly to lose my pregnancy weight, like my postpartum weight too, like after having baby. Because I'm not down to my pre-pregnancy weight yet, but I'm very close. But I'm working hard on it. I don't know if it makes you gain weight, like most birth controls do, like the hormonal birth controls usually do. But, and for appetite, like all those symptoms that you usually get with hormonal birth control, I didn't really get. Like, I didn't get bad acne, but I didn't get bad acne with my my birth control pills either. I did gain weight with my birth control pills, but I've been losing weight with this, like not with this, but I've been losing weight, and I don't think it has anything to do with it. Like, I don't, like, as like non-hormonal birth control, I don't think any major symptoms like that will occur. I've heard people, though, they've had, like, their IUD has actually taken away their anxiety and depression, which it hasn't for me, but I've always had really, really bad anxiety and sometimes depression. And since having him, it's gotten worse, just because you're worried about your child, right? Like, that's just how it is. But those major symptoms, honestly, I haven't noticed anything, like, bad. So, for those, like, if anyone's concerned, like, or has any questions about the IUD, if I can help, I will answer down in the comments down below, or you can message me. Feel free to message me too. If you guys have any questions, or what you guys experienced with the IUD, any advice, because my sister is going to get it done again. Like, she hasn't had hers in yet. She's waiting on her call. So, yeah, feel free to message me, and I can give her advice too. Like, I tried giving her advice, but for people that have never had a child, and if, like, what you experienced, let me know, because my experience was different because I had a child. So, right? So, yeah, comment down below. Also, let me know what other videos you guys want to watch, because I'm honestly, like, I'm trying my best to think of anything. Sorry, hi. Anything you guys want to see, whatever you guys want, just comment down below. And yeah, what else can I say? Like, subscribe, of course. This is, like, that always helps, and be a part of this, my little fam jam, with my little man here. That is almost 9 months old. Look how cute he is. Yeah, you cutie patootie. Those cheeks, though. Yeah. So, yeah. Have a nice day, guys. It's beautiful out here, like in Saskatchewan. It's actually, like, I think 13 degrees today, which is awesome. Because, like, 3 weeks ago, we've had, like, minus 53 degrees. So, it's plus 13 here. So, which is amazing. It's exciting. I'm trying to be outside as much as possible, but I wanted to get this done. So, yeah. Have a nice day, guys. Let me know what the weather's like over where you are. And, yeah. I'll talk to you guys again. Bye.